Denver Pilates Girl here. Today we're talking about reformer maintenance. This is a Peak Pilates TWS and it's the legacy unit. Now I know that because this one is a little bit older and it has a wrapped foot bar. The artistry unit, which is behind me, has a different foot bar. So they're pretty much going to be the same cleaning tips and maintenance tips for both the legacy and the artistry. Now, hey, I'm just a studio owner trying to help you folks out. I am not associated with Peak Pilates, but there's just not enough reformer videos for maintenance on the internet. And I see it in the subreddits and different groups and thought I would make this video. So the first thing, we're going to start with the foot bar and we're going to go all the way up. Things that I do on a weekly basis after classes and after clients. So I'm going to unload the springs and open it up. And I usually just check for the gear bar. I'm going to take it out. So the gear bar has the curved hooks on it and there is nuts in the back. You just want to go through and make sure that these are tight. And if they're not, you'll need a wrench on both sides to hold it to tighten that back up. That's the first thing I look for. Let's set this back down. The second thing is you take your foot straps and make sure the the locking carabiner down here, I'll show you a close up in just a little bit. Make sure these are locked because sometimes they can become loose. Okay, those are good. Next, I look at where the jump board mounts. There's some screws here in the front. And once again, I'll show you a close-up video momentarily. I'll put it right up over here. I just take and make sure that these screws are nice and tight. Check them with the screwdriver. Make sure I got a big enough end on there. And those are all tight. Next, we move on to the gear bar, or the foot bar. The JBA bar, which is this right here, should move freely. Now, however, if it's really loose, you'll take your crescent wrench, put it on here, and make sure it's tight. Now, you don't want to overly tighten it because this bar won't move freely anymore. So we'll put that back. So next, I'm going to hook these back up. We're going to talk about the rails, the side rails. I'm going to grab my Swiffer and then grab the other cleaner. So for the rails, I typically like to, make sure I'm in camera view, use the Swiffer duster. Just because it catches everything and you can quickly just wipe it up under the rails, making sure there's no dust and crevices in there. Now over Christmas, usually I'll do like a heavier maintenance where I'll remove the carriage from the frame and inspect the wheels. And we'll go through how to tighten where the spring underneath the carriage comes into play as well. So we got the rails clean. Put that aside. Now let's talk about what to use to clean the frame of your reformer. Now it is clear coated, so you don't want to use a heavy abrasive cleaner. And I've seen a lot of studio owners use essential oils in with witch hazel. That's not going to work well because it's going to break down your clear coat and it's going to come in and start getting into the wood of your reformer. So this comes from the general manager and the vice president of Peak Pilates for how to maintain your equipment, what to use to clean it. This is Meyer's cleaner every day. I'll show you. So it's a pretty gentle cleaner. So for this, like grease spots and dust, safe to use on the wood. So literally, I just wipe the wood down. I usually buy the unscented version of the cleaner, and it's really good at getting those nice grease spots up and dark spots that you would get putting the twin mats back on here. And then let me get both sides here. Make sure my head's not getting cut off. There we go. All right. So let's talk about vinyl. So for the vinyl, you don't want to use this cleaner because it's going to break it down. Also, you don't want to use the cleaner with essential oils. You don't want to use anything harsh because the essential oils will break down your vinyl and you'll start getting cracks and splits. The safest thing to use is Clorox wipes because it's a very mild cleaner. There's no abrasives in it, and this comes from the guy who builds this equipment and runs the shop over at Mad Dog, located in Longmont, Colorado. He's the one that told me how to take care of the vinyl, protect the vinyl, so your equipment doesn't get any tears and lasts you a very long time. So we've covered what to use on the wood, what to use on the vinyl, your spring settings, your adjustments, what should be tight, located towards the foot bar. Now we're going to talk about the tower unit. Okay, we're back talking about the tower unit, specifically the push-through bar. So the push-through bar has this little black cap that you have to pop off that's located right underneath the eye bolt. In order to tighten the one in the front right here, you have to take off the cap located right in the back. I'm going to set that down. Typically, I have a 7/16 metric socket, and you can put that, and you can fit that right on here. I got to grab the end that goes to the socket. So once that's set, I'm going to put that right in there. And then you got a screwdriver so that you can hold the eye bolt in place while you tighten it with your wrench, or your socket, I should say. So I'm going to stick the screwdriver right through the eye bolt, like so it's going to be held in place. Take the wrench, put it on there. I'm just going to give it a good hand tightness because this one's pretty loose. I'm going to bring it back. Now you notice it's not moving down here, and you want it so it's vertical, up and down. You don't want it off to the side because that's going to affect your exercise. So I just made sure that I've got it tightened and square. I'm going to give it another tighten. There. I'm going to set down my tools, replace the black cap right on here, and put that back and store it up. Now there is also maintenance on the push-through bar, the screws that hold it in place. You want to make sure these are tight, but not tight enough that your push-through bar, for instance, I've seen some of them that just, you have to work to get it down. It doesn't move freely. You want your push-through bar to move freely. So if it doesn't, loosen it just a little bit. You also want to pay attention to the screws, which are the Allen wrench keys on your vertical bars of your tower and the top part as well. So for the Allen wrench keys on either side of your poles and the ones right on the top, they usually will give you an Allen tool with your reformer. Make sure you hold on to it because you'll put it up there and just want to make sure that it's tight enough. And you'll inspect these on a monthly basis and or weekly if you have high studio usage. You'll also want to inspect the eye bolts on the back that hold your springs, just to make sure that they're tight, they're not wiggling, nothing is moving, and also the eye bolts right on the front where you do some of your rollback bar exercises. Now there's another spot. Let me move my barrel out of the way. that we'll talk about at the back of the reformer. Okay, now we're going to talk about those Allen screws at the back of the carriage and your tower unit. So you also have your vertical tower that runs up and down, and then you have the little Allen screws located on either side. And also you have the eye bolts at the back to where your spring goes, where you bottom load the push-through bar. You just want to make sure that these are snug and they're not moving around. Take your Allen key again and just double check that these are all tight. Again, maintenance is the key so you don't have any injuries when your equipment fails. Just double checking those. Now those are all tight. So what I talked about was you have the bolts right up here that attach to the eye bolts in the front. Just inspect everything, go through it, make sure everything's snug and tight. You can also inspect your straps as well. And now we'll take a look at doing the carriage. We'll turn it upside down so that way you can see where the springs are underneath the carriage. Okay, we're back again looking at the underside of the carriage. So here is where your springs attach through. They begin here and then they attach to the gear bar toward the foot bar. So they have the little eye bolts again. And what I'm looking for is that the eye bolts are not moving. So again, you'll need that crescent wrench. You'll need 2 of them because on the other side is a bolt and there's also a bolt right here. You just want to make sure that they're nice and snug. That way your springs are not moving around. And that is an easy basic maintenance. So you can get to know your TWS unit, whether you have, this happens to be the Artistry, or the Legacy unit that we started with in the beginning. Hey everyone, thanks for watching the video and tuning in. I hope you learned some valuable information on how to maintain, make sure all your bolts are tightened on your Peak Pilates TWS tower unit. Now TWS stands for Total Workout System. So whether you have the Legacy here or behind me, the Artistry, hopefully you'll be able to do some basic maintenance. I'll shoot a video later in the future that shows you how to adjust your wheels, clean your wheels, and that would be on the underside of the carriage. Hopefully you have a great rest of your day. If you have any questions, concerns, or you need some help, leave me a comment below. I'd love to help you. Until next time, bye.